So students, I'm back with the Visionary Voices. This time, this is not only for MBA aspirants, but let's say we are discussing something which is very generic and which is by and large useful for students and student community at large. As well those people who are working and they are dealing with, I would say, corporate stress or their work-life stress. So it is something which is with respect to happiness and wellness, and believe me, today again I have an eminent person, Dr. Prabhat Pankaj, who is director of Jaipuria Institute of Jaipur, and sir is a happiness and wellness coach, TedX speaker, and surprisingly he is an economist also. So with lot of academic glory to his background and then into wellness and happiness, I decided that we'll be talking on happiness and wellness because that is need of today's hour, not only to my MBA aspirants but also to those students who are in class 10 or class 12th or those who are working. So it's a by and large something which we are talking about, a very generic subject. So welcome to this talk. I would believe that this is one medium through which people like you can interact to a large student community at large, where we might not be able to reach directly. So I should start with sir. हमने बहुत सुना है happiness के बारे में. We have heard a lot. So मैं बिल्कुल आपसे जानना चाहता हूँ, what is the true meaning of happiness in today's fast-paced world?
Thank you, Kapilji. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude for this opportunity, and you have picked up a very right subject. आज के दिन में अगर हम देखें तो बहुत ही हसल बसल और लाइफ जो है बहुत ही हेक्टिक हो गया है. So if you are asking me what is the true meaning of happiness, there are many ways to express it, but I'll just give you one single word to understand. This is the word is called peace. So if you have some inner peace, tranquility, satisfaction with what you are doing, what you are engaged in, you feel happy. So that's the way I would like to see happiness at the moment. In a world which is very chaotic, is fast-paced, peace, inner peace defines happiness.
But sir, in today's fast-paced world, as we discussed this, to manage situations, exams, work, deadlines, I mean, can we really do something practically to implement this? Because we all, even let's say, I've also worked for almost 22 years now, and I feel that at some point of time, there is always a pressure of deadline. There is always a pressure of work. So how to implement, or let's say how to understand practical strategies to understand your definition of happiness?
So let me first explain that there are a very, very short way of, that means, a short view of happiness. That means you're looking at happiness at the moment, and then there is a longer view of happiness. So that you're looking at happiness in an evaluative sense of the term. The short way of looking at happiness or at the moment is about gratification. So of course that is how we understand happiness. That happiness comes when I get this, I do this, I achieve this, immediate things. So that's the way we look at it. That's also very important, but that's not guarantee that you will get peace or inner peace or happy satisfaction or happiness when you start looking back after a considerable time period, because the time frame is very important in happiness, and we have to care for moment where you are and also what is going to come up, and therefore these two views you have to take. Strategies are many. There are many ways to optimize both. Because we have seen it. There are many examples which actually tells us that you have achieved everything in life, like you are looking for wealth, money, bank balance, good job, good positions, reputations, and even after that you have fallen sick, you are not well physically, like I can give you the example of Rakesh Jhunjhunwala. Rakesh Jhunjhunwala has had everything, but unfortunately at the age of 61 he was admitted in the hospital and he died out of heart problem. probably I don't know what he must have been thinking at the fag end of his life, but one thought that must have crossed his mind, that I wish I could have taken care of my health. Now, this is very important factor, but we forget this factor when we are planning our things. So self-care, body care is very important, but that's one aspect of happiness. You have to think, you have to plan things a little ahead. So what is happening with the students at the moment is, as far as I can see them, they are not planning ahead, and they are not taking up things well ahead in time. So this is my also personal experience. I can share it with you that, if suppose you want to do something very big, very complex, then when you start, the things are not that complex. It looks easy if you plan it in 2 months, let's say 3 months ahead. But when the time approaching and the time is very less in your hand, let's say exam is tomorrow, and then you started preparing 2 months before, then it looks easy. But when you start preparing for the exam 2 days ahead, then it looks big. So it's the same exam, but it's just the time frame which you have actually devoted to it makes it difficult or easy. And therefore the formula is that you have to consciously plan it way ahead of time. That's one very big and very interesting strategy. Now, second strategy I can give is that when you're working very hard, then you get very perplexed, your mind, boggled, and, you're bogged down. You have to learn this, you have to learn this, you have to learn this, you have to do this. A lot of things are coming at one point of time, and you're not able to crack it. So better strategy is that you start planning it, with a break in between. Is always advisable. So don't go at a stretch for a very long time, because medical science has actually come up with some research which says that don't sit in one chair for a very long time, because it's almost like smoking a cigarette. It's a kind of new form of smoking cigarette, so your body gets a lot of harm out of that. Mental health also gets affected if you actually devote yourself constantly for a very long time to a particular complex job. So you take a break. So there is a formula also around that. That formula says that you go for about let's say half an hour, and then break it for 5 minutes, and then you go for another half an hour, break it for 5 minutes, and then after 4 or 5 breaks, such breaks, and then you go for 15 minutes break. So that's a very famous formula that one can. So it is strongly advocated that you take small break. Now, third thing I would like to say, which is slightly, at the thought level, is that the students actually think, if you start thinking of perfection, and there is a dichotomy between achieving perfection and achieving the results. You have to check that, okay, this task is done. And then you start looking at whether this task has been done perfectly or not. Then you will say that, oh, this task has not been done. So there is always a dichotomy between that. So I'll say that don't look for perfection to begin with. Your strategy should be to finish the task. Your strategy should not be always to go for. So limit your perfections. You have to limit your temptation for perfection. But I'm not saying that you don't go for perfection. Perfection is a cumulative thing. It will come over a period of time. But in order to reduce your burden and stress, you have to limit your perfection somewhere, right? So these are some of the strategies.
Okay, so I believe मुझे जो दो चीज़ तुम्हारे लिए समझ में आ रही हैं, one is you should always take short breaks while you are, I mean, people say 10 घंटे लगातार पढ़ना है, मैं भी इसके फेवर में कभी नहीं रहता, and I always say take breaks and then do it, take breaks and then do it. This is exactly what sir is saying. And second is, we should look at finishing things. We should look at achieving, let's say, the task at least. First we should finish it. So these two things. With this, I'll ask a question which is very sensible from all the student community point of view. आजकल सर बहुत टर्म सुना हमने mindfulness. तो first is, what exactly is mindfulness? And second is, how does mindfulness help stress management? And what simple mindfulness techniques can they adopt?
All right, so 3 parts. One is what is mindfulness. So let me make it very simple for everybody to understand what mindfulness is. So our mind is very interesting. So somebody asked me, where is your mind? I said, oh, here is my mind. And then he asked me, where is your head? Then he said, oh, this was mind or head, I don't know. Then most of us say, oh, this is head, but where is your mind then? And this happens actually. So in actuality, what happens is that your mind talks with you. It's constantly in talks with you. So you're sitting, you're not speaking anything. You're not thinking anything from your side, but your mind keeps on thinking, and your mind is going in 1,000 directions, is thinking lots of things. Now, if you ask neuroscience says that your mind will get 50,000 thoughts in 24 hours. Even if you do not do anything. And out of these 50,000, interestingly, 40,000 thoughts are going to be negative thoughts. It will stop you from doing things. And 10,000 are going to be positive, which will propel you to do something interesting. So if you do not do anything about your mind, you put your mind on the autopilot, then your mind will always, like, this is your body, let's say, and this is your mind, let's say, your mind will always flick this side, or your mind will always flick this side. When it flicks this side, let's say, in the past, so you will always think, it will always think about past. मेरे साथ क्या हुआ, मेरे को ऐसे किसी ने बोल दिया, मेरे को ऐसे क्यों कह दिया, मेरे साथ ऐसे क्यों हो गया. These are all negative thoughts, will drag you to the past. And then these are the future. These are the future. मेरे साथ क्या होगा, कल एग्जाम है, ऐसे करना है, वैसे करना है, पता नहीं कैसे करेंगे. All these negative connotations will come to you. So it's dragging you in the past, it's dragging you in the future, but your ability to bring it in the present. So where your body is here, your mind is also here. So mindfulness, in simple word, is to be living in the present and bring your body and mind together. So you are here and your mind is also here, is mindfulness. How it helps? It helps tremendously because because as I explained to you with the neuroscience, that this is exactly the reason why stress arises, because most of the time our mind is flickering and we are not doing anything, we are putting mind on the autopilot. So there was a very interesting saying, Tibetan story, where a horse rider was going somewhere and the child asked, "Hey horse rider, where are you going?" The horse rider said, "Why are you asking me? Ask my horse. I'm not going anywhere, it's my horse which is going." So question is that, is your mind under your control, is doing something that you want it to do, or you do something which your mind is asking you to do? So if you put the mind on the autopilot, that means you are giving up to your mind, and your mind is actually driving your life. And mind is 80% negative. That's cognitive bias, and therefore it's very important, because the moment you go for mindfulness practices, your stress goes down and you get positive thoughts in your mind, and then when your mind gets positive, your body actually follows that, and then you start doing something very interesting, and new things, interesting things, positive things starts coming your way. Even the achievements are, people have experimented that, and they have confirmed that the positive reinforcement and a lot of achievements which will make you happy will start coming when you start following the mindfulness. Now coming to the third one, practice. I'll just give you a quick one. Quick one is that just close your eyes, sit quietly somewhere, just close your eyes and go for a deep breathing exercise. Deep breathing means you have to take deep breath, intentional deep breath, close your eyes and take a deep breath. What happens is that your oxygen reaches your stomach, and generally, if you see yourself how you are breathing, you will realize that your oxygen is not reaching stomach, till stomach. You're doing shallow breathing. Your oxygen is reaching your chest, is not going down. It's very important that your oxygen reaches there, because if your oxygen is not, if your gut is deprived of oxygen, then you lack serotonin in your body. That's a very important neurochemical. And if the serotonin is not there, happiness is not there, because happiness chemical is, serotonin is called the happiness chemical, which needs to be there in the body. So it's very important, and that's why 5 minutes of deep breathing exercise, you will see your mind has cooled down, you have started looking at the positive side, and things are happening very quickly. So that's a very simple technique, I would like to say.
ग्रेट. तो सर एक चीज़ जो व्हाट आई फील इज़, ये लोग क्यों, मतलब एक वर्किंग एग्जीक्यूटिव भी, इंस्टा, मोबाइल, व्हाट्सएप, आई मीन ऑल सॉर्ट ऑफ रील्स, आई मीन दे आर डाउन द डे दे आर डूइंग दिस ओनली. So in this age of this technology and these distractions, how can they maintain their focus and avoid that burn down stage?
Very important question. How do you do that? So, example is that you have started reading a book and you have read the first book, you have gone to the second page, you have read the first page, you have gone to the second page. By the time you have gone to the third page, you have completely forgotten what was written on the first page. You have started typing something on the working on the laptop, and there is a pop-up. Some advertisement, something, your attention gets diverted. This is called attention deficit, right? And there are many distractions, partial distraction, full distractions. So I saw a lady on the phone, right, and a small baby of 6-7 years dragging the mother for attention, seeking attention, and the lady was on the phone constantly talking. Now look at the mindset which is going to be there for the child. There are many examples I can give. So this is full of, the world is full of. Now what to do in this kind of situation? This is something like, you have been asked to wear a black black full dress with a black goggles, right, and your hair is colored very black, and you are made to enter into a black room, pitch black room, and then you are asked to find a black cat. So life is like that, right? You are never able to do that. So what to do? Number one, you have to be conscious of the fact that there are 4 fulcrums of life, and you need to work on that. Number one, you have to work on your body. You have to keep your body fit. You have to keep your body nice without any disease. So body care. And it comes from a lot of self-care. Self-care has to be prioritized. So, I'll say all students, you are not into self-care. You are not taking care of yourself. And the number one, body. Second is mind. Can mind be trained? Can mind be controlled? Can mind be, tuned to well-being and positive? Yeah, of course. And the Harvard Medical Science has published n number of papers, and the medical science and others are saying a lot of evidences are there which says that mind and body, these two are not two different things. They are actually the same thing, and therefore what comes in mind is what body follows, and there is a deep connection between mind and the body. So you have to take care of your mind. Second. Third is you have to take care of your emotions, because lots of things happens because we are not able to control emotions. Of course, about emotions, what is said as that is not under our control, is triggered by many factors. Of course, it's triggered by, but how you feel can be controlled, right? Emotions cannot be controlled, but how you feel about something, how you judge something can be controlled, because a lot of emotions depend on how you judge things. Say, for example, if you think that you are bad, then it will generate bad feeling in you, right? You have the control over how you think, how you feel. So that is the emotion. Emotional regulations is very important in happiness. The last one, which comes basically from our wisdom, not the Western wisdom is now looking at this, constantly, but we are master in that. We have got it from our Indian heritage and culture and past. This is called spiritual fitness. We need to look at that spiritual fitness. Spiritual fitness is about finding your purpose, finding your values, aligning your values and meaningful life, which is called the meaningful life, which one of the psychologists who has started this authentic happiness, Martin Seligman, he talked about 3 kind of lives. One is pleasant life, then he said good life, and then he said meaningful life. So pleasant life is something that we understand very well. We need to actually add it to the good life, make it to the good life. Good life is when you start taking care of your body, your mind, your emotions, then it becomes a good life. And then it becomes meaningful life when you start finding your purpose. And one of the way to find the purpose for the youngsters is that they should use this word called WHY. Why? Why is very important. When you are doing even the smallest of the things, ask why. If you are doing this, why? If you are doing that, why? If you are doing this way, why? Try and find out why. So if you ask on any aspect, if you ask why 5 times, then you go to the root cause, and that gives you the value, your value, and also gives you the clarity about the purpose, meaningful purpose. Say, for example, if you allow me to give this example, I asked a student who failed in semester. I said, "Why have you failed?" He said, "Sir, I could not study well." Then I asked, "Why you could not study?" Then he said, "I was not able to sleep from last 1 week." Then I asked, why were you not able to sleep, from the last 1 week? Then he said, oh, I had a quarrel with my friend and I was so disturbed. Then I asked, why have you quarreled with your student, with your friend? And then he started explaining what happened there. Now look at this. I asked him 5 whys, right? And then I got into the root cause, that okay, he could not do well in the exam because there was some underlying relationship problem. You understand? I could not have understood this in the first way, right? If I would have asked you, why have you failed? Seemingly he failed because he could not perform well in the exam. So it is not study related at all. His failure is not related to study. His failure is related to the bad relationship that he was into. You understand? So that is the way to get into the, so it gives you a lot of clarity when you ask five whys, right? So why is the purpose very important? So this is the way to go about.
Very important. So guys, before you distract with this talk, I would like to take the last thing, and again, a very helpful, which will help you to understand happiness, maybe today, tomorrow, whenever you realize that, okay, I'm looking for this. So sir, can happiness be learned, or is just an inborn, innate trait which we get with our genes, or which we are born with?
Yeah, so I'll go by research. So research, the genetic research says that up to 25% of your happiness skill is inborn, is genetically. So there are many experiments that has been done, but about 75% you have the control over it. So you have agency over almost like 75% of how you do and what you do, and therefore it's a very large one. So therefore I strongly believe that happiness can be learned and life can be changed. Now question is, what are the planks that on which you have to work? So I'll just quickly give you the plank, and I'll give you a term called, let's say, one I explain is that the body, mind, heart and soul. So these are the 4 fulcrum that you have to work. Now there are 5 plank that you need to be conscious about. It's called the PERMA model. Basically it comes from the psychology. PERMA model is, the first P stands for the positive thoughts. So you have to inculcate the habit of positive thoughts, because they do not come naturally to you. Your mind is biased. If you do not do anything about it, it will always breed, 80% chances are it will breed negative thoughts. So you have to work on it, mindfulness, etc. and all. And then E is engagement. You need a lot of engagement and variety of engagement. Your engagement is not just the book and the study that you do. Your engagement should be with your friend, your hobby, your play, your sports, your things like that. You have to regulate your food. You have to regulate your sleep. You have to regulate your entire cycle, 24 cycle that you work on. So engagement is very important. Then you have the R. R is relationship. You need to work on relationship, because humans cannot live without other humans, and you need to pour out a lot of things, because mind is such that 2/3 is unconscious, and there is a lot of thing that goes into unconscious, and it creates a lot of problem. You need to pour it out, and you need somebody to pour it on. So you have to have good friends. So never undervalue the importance of good friend. You need to nurture those relationships where you can pour out. And then you have M. M is meaning. Find meaning in life. So ask 5 times why. Ask lots of why, and keep on asking why. That will give you the purpose. Once you are able to have a greater clarity about the purpose, your happiness will start sinking in you, because happiness comes from clarity of purpose. And then A. A stands for a lot of achievement, because achievement is the protoplasm of life, right? It gives you a lot of dopamine, and you need dopamine. You need serotonin, you need dopamine, but dopamine is not the entire happiness. Happiness is serotonin, right? So you have to have a balance of dopamine and serotonin. But dopamine we cannot undermine. You need to have. So you need to have a lot of achievement. Getting on the stage, speaking, getting praise, writing something, cracking exam, participating in events. These are very, very important things which will keep you coming to you as an achievement. So these are the 5 fulcrum on which you have to work. But last one thing, there is a super chemical, neurochemical, which actually keeps you alive and makes your life good. And this is called endorphin. Now people don't understand this chemical, endorphin. Endorphin is called the natural painkiller in your body. And how do you actually, it heals you from inside all the time. So it actually increases your resilience. So resilience is about the fact that if something wrong happens in your life, you are not bogged down, you are not broken, right? You are able to face it, and you develop that resilience of facing it, and which is very important for life. Resilience is so important. So endorphin. How do you get endorphin in your body? It doesn't come from normal routine. You have to get up in the morning and walk, go for a walk, physical activity, a very brisk walk early in the morning for at least 40-45 minutes. In the empty stomach, that is where you get the maximum amount of endorphin in your body. If you adopt this life, because there is a big study, 85 years, that study has gone for 85 years, Harvard study of happiness, adult development. Waldinger has done that study. He has said that he tracked the life of people from 19 years to their death, and he said that all those people who have actually adopted this habit of morning walk, their life was pretty happy, and their diseases in the life was very low. So it works very true. So this is the last advice.
So guys, तुमको जो मेरे समझ में आ रहा है, तुमको थोड़ा सा अपने लाइफस्टाइल को चेंज करना चाहिए. तो थोड़ा सा समझ में आ रहा है वो ये है कि यू कैन बी जॉयस, यू कैन बी जोवाइल. द ओनली थिंग इज थोड़ा लाइफस्टाइल चेंज रिक्वायर्ड है एज पर वन हैप्पीनेस एंड वेलनेस एक्सपर्ट, एंड यू गाइस कैन डू इट इजीली. आई नो जब हम रात भर जग सकते हैं तो हम थोड़ा बहुत चेंज करके रात को ना जग के और सुबह जैसा सर बोल रहे हैं कुछ अर्ली मॉर्निंग स्टार्ट करके वी कैन ऐड लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स, गुड थिंग्स टू आवर लाइफ. Okay, so guys, this was actually a wonderful talk in our Visionary Voices, and I think this will add some value not only in terms of the academics but in terms of the generic life, overall life, and will help you to understand the overall happiness model that you can create on your own. So wish you all the best, guys. Thank you to sir, and please keep watching, subscribing and liking our channel so that you can get more content, and the content is good, it is free, you will have good time with us. So keep watching Visionary Voices. I'll be back with the same series and with some other eminent person. Thank you guys. Thank you sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.